Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new. Today we are doing a video to talk through my 5 main tips for staying confident during your bulking phase, gaining phase, off season, whatever you want to call it. How you can ultimately still stay confident during those periods of time where you do ultimately have to get a little bit uncomfortable, have to push your body weight in that pursuit of gaining muscle mass. I have been through several pushing, bulking phases and off seasons so far in my bodybuilding journey, and I have learned a lot about what to do and also what not to do. And I want to be able to share that information with you guys to hopefully help you along your journey to make amazing progress during those timeframes, but to also actually enjoy them as much as possible as well. Before I actually get stuck into this video, I want to firstly just make sure we're all familiar with the terms that we are referring to. An off-season bulking or gaining phase is essentially a phase spent in a surplus where you intentionally increase body weight at an appropriate rate of gain in the pursuit of gaining muscle mass. This is something that you are going to have to go through if your goal is to put on muscle, but especially you might have to go through these phases even more uncomfortably so in earlier years of your bodybuilding journey when you're really laying down the foundations of the muscle that you're building. And I'll refer you guys back now to a previous video I did where I talked through my last off season, which was obviously the biggest push that I've ever done. I actually gained 50 pounds up from where my stage weight was at the start of that off season. And I really talked through a lot of what I experienced throughout that with what I gained, how I managed that phase specifically. A lot of what I took on board from that specific off season and so many other gaining phases is how I've been able to actually still feel good about myself, still feel confident, still feel comfortable within that discomfort. You should not have to feel like you just have to endure these phases, or you entirely just let yourself go because you're in off season, or let yourself go because you're in a bulking phase, because that's honestly going to make that experience so much worse and potentially also then as a result hinder your progress if you're not actually feeling productive in those timeframes, or if you're especially just really not enjoying them, you're maybe not going to get the most out of even your training or just literally the amount of time that you could possibly be spending in those phases as well. So we'll get stuck into my first piece of advice, and that is to actually take care of yourself. Still put effort into your appearance and how you look when you are on the way up. It's very, very easy to take care of yourself and dress nice and look after yourself when you're lean because you generally feel good all the time. You might even find that it feels easier to do so. But if you neglect this when you're getting heavier, you are genuinely going to make yourself feel so much worse. Just like in any other phase, if you stop looking after yourself, you will not feel good within yourself. So there's really 2 downsides to not actually taking care of yourself in these phases. The first one is that you are literally going to feel worse about yourself as a byproduct of the fact that you genuinely have stopped putting effort into yourself. So it's probably not going to be a surprise if you don't feel so great within how you look day by day, if you've stopped doing your hair, you've stopped taking time to do your skincare routine, you've stopped doing all of these things that actually do allow you to feel good. And that brings me on to then the second point of why you don't feel great, and it's because you're literally just not putting care into yourself. And that simple act of looking after yourself, taking care of yourself, is something that allows you to feel so good in general. Even if you think about when you train or when you eat good, yes, of course, doing all of these things do have a physical effect that allow you to feel better, but it's also just the act in and of itself, knowing that you are doing something to take care of yourself, that already, literally by default, allows you to feel so much better. And what you do here to allow you to feel good is very individual. For me, this looks like staying on top of getting my nails done, making sure that I get my hair done, doing my fake tan, making sure that I actually learn how to dress myself well and not just completely neglect myself or drown myself in baggy old clothes, whatever it may be. I'm going to come on to that in a second. But find the things that allow you to feel good in yourself. If you're a guy and you maybe also aren't fancying getting your nails done, maybe it's just going and getting a haircut, or maybe it's staying on top of your shaving, whatever it may be, there's probably something that you can do that allows you to have that act of self-care. My second piece of advice actually leads quite nicely on from that, and that is to stop wearing clothes that you wore when you were stage lean. Funnily enough, the clothes that fitted you when you were 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 pounds lighter will probably not fit you now. And that's okay, because you also probably don't want to be in that body anymore. You want to grow your body, you want to be in a healthier body, you want to be in a body that is progressing from that previous physique. Especially if you were stage lean, that's not a body that you want to be able to actually live in, and you shouldn't. And that's important for you to know if you are going down that competitive path. As a bodybuilder, you probably are going to need a few different wardrobes. I intentionally do not buy any clothes when I am within 10, even 15 pounds of being stage lean, because I know that I don't need to dress that body, because that is not a sustainable body that I want to or will be living in. So this is where then, as you come on the way up, you need to learn to embrace your new body and learn how to dress that body with confidence and actually embrace it for all of its strengths. Because if you instinctively avoid that, or if you just choose to hide that away and wear baggies, you're basically making the decision to tell yourself that you aren't proud of that physique, you don't like that physique, you want to hide that physique away. And you're literally the only person that is telling yourself that you want to or that you need to do that. So you can absolutely wear baggy clothes if that's the style of fashion that you do like, but it's about not dressing your physique in a way that is trying to hide it away, trying to ignore it, trying to cover it up because you don't like it, and actually dressing it in a way that allows you to feel confident within your body, whatever that looks like. Tip number 3 is to do something that forces you to love your growing body. And this can look like a number of different things. So a very, very simple one could be just like I've touched on there, actually not hiding your body away, maybe being in the gym and wearing a sports bra because you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to do that. But it's like, if you want to do something, force yourself to actually embrace that and allow yourself to actually love the way that your physique looks when it's strong, when it's healthy, when it's progressing. One of the best things that I did for this was I actually did a photo shoot back in November, I think, of 2023. And I did that just in the middle of that off season I spoke to you guys about. And that was really just like a confidence photo shoot. You'll see a lot in the fitness industry that people do photo shoots predominantly when they're very lean, when they're stage lean, and it can create quite a skewed perception of what we look like, because you see all of these pictures of people when they're basically stage lean. They've been dieting for probably from 16 to 28 weeks to be in that shape. It's not sustainable. So actually doing these shoots when you're at a normal, healthy, good body weight is really important for you to, one, acknowledge what we're supposed to look like. And that's a huge reason why I did it as well, was to show others what our physiques look like in these time frames, but also for you to feel good in yourself. It puts yourself in a position where you get uncomfortable in different ways, and in ways that allow you to grow, and ways that allow you to appreciate yourself more. And you probably then look back at those pictures that I did, and I was like, I can actually be confident in that, and no longer see a heavier body, a body that carries more body fat, as a lesser body, or a body that means that I cannot feel as confident within myself. Tip number 4 is to keep a good routine and do not get lazy. Being in a bulk, being in your off season is not a reason for you to neglect doing all of the things and staying accountable with all of the variables that allow you to feel good on a day-to-day basis. So have a good routine, have a good sleep routine, stay hydrated, continue to eat good quality foods, make sure that you get outside and go for walks, make sure that you stay on top of your stress management. It is definitely much harder in some ways to stay on top of these things when you don't have that motivation of pursuing fat loss, and ultimately also as you get heavier and you are probably going to feel a little bit more lethargic at points, a little bit less motivated, but you need to flip this on its head. Because doing these things when you are chasing the goal of gaining muscle will actually allow you to make more progress. You will have better recovery. You will avoid running into issues like having a super low appetite, having digestive issues. And above all else, it's about focusing on how you actually feel, what you do, and your actions day by day, rather than only doing those things because of a superficial or aesthetic outcome that you're actually getting as a result of that. Focus more on your internal motivations and drive to do certain things rather than just external reasons. Tip number 5, and probably the most important, is to find confidence in other more important areas of your life. And the biggest thing that's going to be most evident for this for you as a bodybuilder is your training. In these phases, you need to find more confidence and more enjoyment in your training and really, really see yourself essentially as a performance-based athlete rather than just fixating on your physique in these phases. No matter what, your physique, your results, your progress will always come as a byproduct of the actions on a day-to-day, and especially as a bodybuilder, as a byproduct of your training. Now more than ever is going to be a time where you can have the absolute most fun with your training, and you have to seriously love the shit that you can do in this time frame and allow that to fuel new levels of confidence. And this is what I learned definitely a lot in my last off season, is the way it feels when you go into a gym and you can load up a good few plates on a squat, you can pull a few plates on a deadlift, you can, regardless of how strong you are, just feel powerful, feel progressive, feel like you're actually making progress forwards. That feels immense, and that feels so much better than being shredded does, or getting lean, and ultimately going through phases where, let's be honest, when you're in a fat loss phase, you're not progressing, you're pulling off body fat, but you're not really moving forwards. And being able to find so much enjoyment in that will allow you to build new and different kinds of confidence, where you build confidence in your capabilities and what you can do, rather than only having confidence because of your external appearance. And that, in my opinion, is actually something that is important throughout your bodybuilding journey in general. Even when you, say, for example, feel a bit more confident when you are going through a competition prep or when you are getting leaner, don't let your confidence only just be fueled by how you look to the eye. Allow it to be fueled by the fact that you've put so much work in to be where you're at now. How you look is a byproduct of your challenges, of your actions, of what goes on internally, rather than just what is there on an external basis. But those are my 5 main pieces of advice summarized there for you guys. I think outside of that, another general thing that you should always keep in mind throughout these phases, as I actually mentioned in my latest vlog, is to not overthink the process too much. The worst thing you can do that's really going to bring down your confidence is overanalyze, overthink, doubt yourself. Make sure that during these time frames you either put trust in your own knowledge if you're guiding yourself, or probably best case scenario is that you put your trust in your coach, in their guidance. Let them make the decisions for you. Let them guide you so that you know exactly what you need to do, and you can then just very confidently execute, but then really enjoy that phase, enjoy the week by week, knowing that you're progressing, and be confident in that progress that you are making. So I hope that you have found this video helpful. If anyone has any questions or even other tips that you've used throughout your gaining phases to help you with feeling more confident, definitely share them down below, because I would love to hear them myself, and I'm sure that they will be really helpful to others as well. But thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way through, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content to come, and I will catch you all in the next one.